Hello, my name is Margaret Adele, and I learned something new lately, and that is August is Indie August, with an emphasis not just on indie books, but indie things in general. However, since I'm a booktuber, I'm gonna make Indie August all about the indie books. And I'm really excited because I was already planning on doing all of my indie book review things like I did for the month of June. So I was really happy to do it again. And I'm going to go even more hard. I'm going to do things like how to get into indie books, why you should be reading indie books, why indie books might be a little bit better than traditional books sometimes. And I'll also be doing more indie book reviews. So be on the lookout for that if you're interested. So today is the first. I read this in 2 days because it was just that great, and that is The Songbirds Refrain by Jillian Maria. Now, when I first read the synopsis for this, I got kind of like a Wilder Girls with a little bit more magic vibe. This revolves around a teenager named Elizabeth who has just recently found out that she's gay, hasn't told her parents yet, but feels like she's not seen anywhere, that she's kind of just hidden by the world. No one really seems to notice her. No one really seems to care all that much whether or not she's there. She's a good student, but not a great one. And then she finds a flyer for this show, and she's not even sure what it is. And as she goes to it, she's intrigued by all these strange, mysterious, creepy things that are going on in this show. And it ends with this, what looks like a giant pile of feathers in a cage, only it turns out that pile of feathers is an actual woman who dies in front of her. And before she can even do anything about it, she finds herself in the exact same fate, slowly growing feathers across her body, helpless to this curse. And she must break it. She must find a way out of it and to fight back against this mysterious mistress if she doesn't want to meet the exact same fate. Now, like I said before, this gave me Wilder Girls vibe because it is queer YA body horror, but with a lot more magic thrown in. And I was super intrigued. I had originally intended on reading this book in 3 days, about 100 pages a day. It's a little over 300 pages. But I just couldn't stop. It is so intriguing. The descriptions were probably my favorite part for the entire thing. The way Jillian Maria describes things happening. It was so creepy without anything happening at first. Just when Elizabeth is walking through the show and seeing all the little different things on display, getting to see them firsthand and all the mysterious things and the dark lighting and all of that, it really brought home this is something other, and I loved that about it. And even the descriptions in other ways also did really well. I think one of my favorite descriptions in the entire book was when Elizabeth is trying to have a conversation with her parent at dinner, and she describes it as trying to have a conversation with an NPC in a video game where once the traditional lines have been said, you're just cycling through the same things over and over again and making no progress, which I love. I haven't seen that description used a lot for that kind of interface, so I was really intrigued by that. There's like pseudo pop culture references, like Elizabeth references loving anime and I have a favorite show and this girl is playing the theme song to it, but like nothing is mentioned by name, which I liked because I don't watch anime, so I wouldn't have gotten any of the references either. I feel like that would have been probably too niche. Now, the problem is that it is very hard to talk about the plot of this book because it starts off very mysterious with a ton of mysteries. On top of slowly growing feathers every day, Elizabeth also has essentially 2 separate dreams every night, and both involving a girl named Elizabeth and a girl named Alice. And in one set, Elizabeth and Alice maybe falling in love, but not sure. And on the other hand, you have just this girl named Alice who appears to be in Elizabeth's time, and how is she connected, and are they soulmates or not? And it's all very admittedly confusing, but I can't even really fault Jillian Maria for that because it's supposed to be confusing. It's supposed to be something you don't wholly understand and you have to keep reading to get it. So I'm not going to hold that against her. What I did love was the other characters. There's Mark, who is an adorable soft boy. Violet, who has the tough exterior but because of a hurt interior and the love they have for each other. The Villains Mistress, and I'm not going to tell you who the crony is, but she has her kind of second in command, because it's kind of a reveal that, oh shoot, this character that we met earlier is actually evil. Crap. They were delightfully evil. Like I'm reading this book and I just want to punch the mistress in the face. Like I'm dreaming of just punching this character in her stupid smirking face and dreaming about, I can't wait until you get your comeuppance, whatever it's going to be horrible and you will deserve it. Like, which I love in a book, when like you make me want that moment when the protagonist finally turns the tables and gets back at them in a book, and like I'm cheering for it, I'm waiting for it, I'm there for it. It was great. It's sad at times. There maybe some character death / character torture. But I appreciate that in a story. I feel like if you are willing to actually end a character's life, it ups the stakes in general. And the curse is definitely there. She talks about, the bumps and on her skin, and it feels like bugs crawling underneath, and her hair falling out because feathers are growing there as well. And wasn't as disturbing as Wilder Girls as I had been expecting. What it more focuses on, rather than it all being uncomfortable, and it is, like she describes it as being feverishly warm and itchy, and like her bones have been hollowed out and all that kind of stuff. The more emphasis is placed on how wrong she feels mentally. Elizabeth talks about feeling like something else is taking over her body, and like someone else is trying to get into her skin almost, which I don't know. I don't have any kind of mental health struggles like that, but I feel like it could be a kind of analogy for a mental health struggle like depression or something like that, just from what I've heard other people talk about. I also loved the fact that she doesn't necessarily hold it against everyone else that's trapped there with her. She's not the only person trapped in this, I guess you could call it a carnival. Like, I got carnival vibes, but like, no, it's a mysterious show. It's like one of those ultra artsy things that doesn't want to tell you what it is. You have to just, like, what would the terminology be? Like, you just need to take in the art without telling you what it actually is. But I love that it goes, the mistress is just so full of herself and her own intelligence and power. Again, I just wanted to punch her in the face. As for the book's queerness, there was so much. Like I mentioned, Elizabeth is gay, but has never had a girlfriend, has never even had her first kiss, which I didn't have my first kiss until I was a senior in high school, so like I get it. But there is like gay on gay, like multiple different queer female relationships, and of differing kinds of queerness. Like, not everyone is straight gay. There's like a bi character, and character that like you're not quite sure what it is, but like women is an option. Like, I liked that as well. It wasn't just every character in this book must be Golden Star gay. But the actual, I guess it's not, I'm trying not to give anything away. I just want to talk all about this. The ending was very bittersweet, which is my favorite kind of ending. And I'm trying to say this without like just telling you what happens. Things are gained, but things were also lost, and the lives of everyone that survives is, they're irrevocably different. They're moving forward in life. Nothing will be the same like it was before the show, which I really liked. There was one or two convenient, we'll just do this now, that kind of didn't sit well with me. And the only other the only thing I would have liked to see more of is, there's a tale that Elizabeth tells that she has a fear of birds, which is kind of ironic because she's turning into one. Because of this giant red bird that attacked her when she was a kid and like left a scar. And that red bird and that attack becomes a bigger deal as the story goes on, and not just because that she's turning into a bird. And so I wish I would have gotten a little bit more of that in the beginning, so that when it comes into play later on, it would have been more impactful, more like, oh crap, that was that. But beyond that, I did love that reveal regardless. The way that attack and her fear of birds comes back around. But I, in general, loved this book. It is a great start to my Indie August. I am so happy. I've loved this premise since the author first sent an email to me to review. I'm so happy I said yes. I still don't read YA in general, but again, I don't know what it is about indie YA, but like the characters are more vulnerable. You've got Elizabeth from this one, Vogue from Nightmare Arcanist, and Thane from Prince Norolf. Like, they're all vulnerable and, oh crap, this is so big and I'm so not prepared for this. And someone once mentioned in one of the comments was that part of the reason for that may be because indie authors still recognize new adult as a genre, whereas traditional authors, or rather traditional publishing companies, don't. So if you want to write a book with slightly older characters that maybe know a little bit more about how the world works but aren't 30-somethings, you can write in new adult and have that in the indie sphere. Whereas in traditional publishing, you either get a character that's 18 or 35. And so you've either got to age them down to be 18 or up to be 35, regardless of what you want. And so you end up with a lot of traditional YA characters that maybe act too mature, whereas indie YA characters are more vulnerable. I don't know. That's a total side note. I'll probably bring that up in another video to talk about at length. It was just something that I was thinking about reading this. Elizabeth was so vulnerable and so scared, and her fear really like hit me because she wasn't I'm a senior in high school, I can fix this. In general, I've said that phrase way too many times. Loved it. 5 stars. Highly, highly recommend. If you like psychological thrillers, if you like magic-y stuff, if you like body horror, if you like LGBT, all of that kind of stuff, this is definitely the one for you. I know that Jillian Maria, who I believe is queer herself, is also writing more FF romances in the future, and like, yes please. So this is definitely an author that I'm going to be keeping an eye on in general. But this was just a fantastic book. I don't know if it was her debut. Editing Margaret, put up here, is this her debut or not? Thank you. This book comes out September 3rd, so after Indie August, but I highly, highly recommend that you get it. It's a perfect for the spoopy fall time if you're looking for something a little bit creepier for one of your fall reads. I don't know, maybe this will count for a monster-a-thon prompt because it has a kind of monstrous mentality, but regardless, I hope you pick this up and love it as much as I do. If you are an indie author and you would like a review, please email me. I'll have my email down in the description below. Also, be sure to check my indie review policy that I have now. Got a nice little document put together with hopefully all the information you would need. If you are looking forward to more indie content, please comment and subscribe. I would love that. I love every comment I get. And with nothing else to say, I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.